We continue our coverage here at Radio Row for the NFL Combine on Chicago Bears Now. Brad Spielberger of PFF joins us, salary cap expert, has a good pulse on the Bears as well. Brad, appreciate you joining us. We'll get to the quarterback stuff. That's obviously what everybody cares about. But your cap expertise, PFF, Jaylon Johnson, arguably the top free agent outside of maybe Chris Jones. Where do we feel like things sit? We're a little less than a week from the deadline where the Bears would have to place the franchise tag on him. Ryan Poles expressed a lot of confidence earlier this week in Indianapolis, but no deal as of yet.
Yeah, I think there's tough dynamics here at play where I understood there was some optimism they were getting close to a deal. It's obviously happened a couple times now. I think from Jalen's standpoint, the first one is in free agency. Now that L'Jarius Sneed might get franchise tagged by the Kansas City Chiefs, if you're Jaylon Johnson, you're saying, I'm not even 25 years old yet. I am by far the best free agent corner available now that L'Jarius Sneed's not on the market.
Yep.
And I think that's working against taking maybe the current offer per se. And then also the draft, there are some good players there, but I don't think it's being viewed as, last year with Devin Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez, like all these pieces. You have Terry Arnold, you have your Kool-Aid McKinstry's, your Quinion Mitchells. But I just think from Jalen's standpoint, it feels like probably should reset the market and be the highest paid corner in the league just because of where he stands and the rest of the market at the position.
Yeah, so where do you think that a fair value lies on, let's just forget the amount of years, let's just 3, 4, whatever it is. Is it 20? Is it 22? Does he want to completely reset? I'm sure that's what he's going for. But I think if you're the Bears, you're saying, well, you haven't played a complete season. I mean, late in the year, he kind of halfway tackles a guy, seems to bang up the shoulder again, which has been a concern going back to college. I've kind of thrown out, 3 for $60 million with 45 guaranteed, just kind of throw a dart. What do you think is a fair offer from the Bears standpoint of things?
Yeah, so I think he probably does want to reset the market, if I had to guess. It hasn't been reset in a couple of years now since Jair Alexander got 21. So if I'm him, I'm asking for 22 plus.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you on from Chicago's perspective. So first, if you do go 3 or 4 years, I think you're telling Jalen you'll still be 28, 29. You can get another contract hypothetically. I think at this point you have to come up to 20. Like I think if you're below 20, he's not going to take it.
I mean, the tag's 19.8, so you kind of have to go to at least 20.
Correct.
Right,
Exactly. So I think 480 and with strong guarantees. The corner market, top of the market guys have been getting very, very strong structures, cash flows, guarantees. So it's going to be a big deal. And I think you have to get there to get it done.
Yeah, and I think the leverage play you mentioned too with Sneed not hitting the market now, the Bears don't want to create another opening on their roster to have to go corner at 9 or something like that. So I do think Jalen's playing at a position of strength, so we'll see what happens there. Edge market, Danielle Hunter seems to be like the big name that's actually going to hit the market. Josh Allen, Brian Burns, I mean, they're going to get tagged if they don't get long-term deals unless you're hearing something else. If that's the case, do you take a swing if you're the Bears? You've already paid Montez Sweat $25 million a year. Do you do another 20-plus to go deep pockets at that position?
I don't hate the idea. I do wonder, though. Ryan Poles, I think, when he goes to free agency, is looking for young players, upside pieces. And Danielle Hunter is phenomenal, don't get me wrong. But a guy that's going to be 30 years old, had some neck issues a couple of years ago, has missed some time. Like, when healthy, he's great. But, for us, tying into the PFF data, like, his underlying metrics have not been as strong. I know the sack numbers are still sky high, but the Vikings are blitzing 65% of the time last year. They're scheming a lot of things up to get him open. He's not winning his one-on-ones quite as often, generating pressure on as consistent of a basis. But, look, phenomenal football player. But if I'm them, I'm thinking more like a Jonathan Greenard out of Houston. Maybe it's less money. He's younger, phenomenal against the run as well, or kind of more bargain bin shopping. I don't know if I go that big on a older than Montez Sweat, another edge rusher.
Greenard or Huff, if you had to pick one?
I think they would lean Greenard because he's super long, has like 35-inch arms. He can set the edge very, very well. He had a 9% run stop win rate for us, one of the highest marks among all edge defenders. I like Huff a lot, phenomenal pass rusher, but I think there are going to be some teams that view him as a pure designated pass rusher.
Yeah, well, and it seems like that's kind of how it's played out in New York, where, per your guys' metrics, his pass rush win rate off the charts, a couple of years now, but even they won't commit to him, so it's like, can this guy play the run? I don't know. So, especially in a full-time role. So, that'll be interesting to see his market. Okay, let's talk quarterback. Caleb Williams gets here yesterday. He's going to talk tomorrow. I'm sure that'll be hectic. Where are you at with what you think the Bears should do? What do you think they will do? And we'll, of course, tie in Justin Fields to the conversation as well.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like I know there are other quarterbacks that teams are excited about. Drake May, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy. I think is going to go earlier than people expect. I think Caleb Williams is the number one quarterback in this class by a decent margin. And if I'm the Bears, I get the enticing aspect of you go to 2, you get extra first, extra second, whatever comes along with the second overall pick from Washington. But I just take Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I completely agree. A lot of our audience here, they're still team Justin Fields. I want to be fair to the keep Justin Fields crowd. Let's just go down that road. Let's just say they were to trade out and do that. What are we talking about contractually? Because I think people forget about this stuff. And I tell my audience, you're probably looking at Daniel Jones minimum if you go down that road and marry yourself to Justin Fields. And sure, you could say, okay, well, you've got this year, you got the 5th-year option. You don't have to commit. Maybe you could work out some kind of Jordan Love deal. There's been pushback on that considering who his agent is. What could a potential contract look like if they were to go the Justin Fields route?
Yeah, I think because Daniel Jones' contract happened and he had his 5th-year option declined, and the team goes into that season, kind of see what can he do for us, has to wow us to stay, and then does, and they don't want to use the franchise tag.
Yep.
For that reason, I think the Bears, if they went that direction, would pick up the $25 million fully guaranteed 5th-year option, would make him show it again, stay healthy, play good football. I don't think they would extend him because you're right. You're starting at, Daniel Jones is 4 years, 160. That's a floor in that conversation.
What do you think, based on something you're hearing lately or just where we're at in the calendar now? Because I know you've thrown out a couple of Justin Fields trade packages, what that could look like. Right now, what do you think that potentially looks like?
I think a late 2nd-round pick is still probably the best you're going to do. And then you tack on, day 3, extra capital on top of that. But I don't really buy the 1st-round pick, conversation at all. And look, some great reporters, people that know a whole lot more than me, Adam Schefter and of the world, have said they've heard they could get that done. I would be surprised. So I think a 2nd-round pick and a 5th-round pick, something like that, the Josh Rosen market, the Sam Darnold market, I think that's what you're looking at.
Would you get in on Mike Evans if you were the Bears? I know we talked about age.
Yeah, and he's a tough one, right? He does profile to me a lot like a Julio Jones, where like there's some soft tissue stuff, some hamstrings, some missing practices. Like you can fall off pretty quickly. I know he's been phenomenal every single year. This past season was one of the best seasons of his career. Playing with Baker Mayfield, so it's not Tom Brady. Staying healthy the whole season. Again, for me, I think I'm saying, hey, in the draft, I'm adding a piece there, and if I am spending, it's on, your Marquise Browns, your Gabe Davis, like that next tier below.
You think Darnell Mooney comes back, or you think he's gone?
I'd be surprised if he's back.
Agreed. 1-year deal somewhere?
I think it'd be a 1-year flyer. Yeah, I think for him perspective, it's like go somewhere with a higher passing volume. Over his rookie contract, the Bears have the fewest passing yards in the entire NFL. So we're trying to get you're getting a piece of the pie, but if you go somewhere else, and even if it's a smaller share of the pie, there's just way more passing volume to work in. I think it's for him, you got to go prove yourself, get back to a higher part of the market, go to a Kansas City, reunite with Matt Nagy, like go somewhere where you can showcase your skills. I think he still can separate very well. I think he still can win over the middle of the football field. Just a down year for him, but yeah, I think he goes for a 1-year flyer elsewhere.
A couple more before we wrap this up. Would you take a flyer? Because I've had this idea of, okay, if you're going to go rookie quarterback, cold Chicago, December, if you're trying to be a competitive team, what about one of these veteran running backs? Got some cap space. Derrick Henry's out there. Saquon, Jacobs. Would you go that route? 1 or 2 year deal for one of those guys? Do you think that's worthwhile for Chicago right now?
They obviously have a lot of flexibility and a lot of resources available, and I do think we've gotten to the point now where there are values in the running back market, like in free agency. Like the David Montgomerys, the James Connors, like those contracts are below what those guys probably are producing and are worth. So Saquon, obviously, you're talking a bigger deal, probably above $10 million a year, but true 3-down back, catch the ball. I mean, that touchdown catch against Arizona was one of the highlights of the year. Can pass protect pretty well. I don't think it should be a priority, but I wouldn't hate the idea.
All right, he's Brad Spielberger of PFF. Give him a follow at PFF_Brad. Any bold predictions moving forward for the Bears?
Oh, I was going to do a non-Bears one, but
non-Bears is
we'll do a non-Bears one. He's a local Chicago kid. I think J.J. McCarthy is going to go like top 5, top 7 in the NFL draft.
You heard it here. Brad Spielberger. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.